Alright, so I switched over to Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream, and I went earlier and listened to the Tower Record one, which does give you a lot of emotion. Now, they redid the Tower Record recently. They did a revamp of the Tower Record performance. It was a live performance with Smashing Pumpkins at Tower Records. I believe, I want to say Chicago, because he mentioned Chicago Sun. Probably right about that. But regardless, it was Tower Records. Back when Tower Records reigned, and only now in Japan. And that's it. If they come back, who knows. But Billy worked in a record store like many of them do. We got to listen to it. Hang on. Here they go. Good timing. Not too bad. I got the shot. Yeah, so Billy worked at a record store. I know nothing about Billy Corgan other than the fact that he had a really rough childhood with his stepmom, and there was some cigarette burning going on that he doesn't approve of. And it gets harder when you're older. You know, when you're like 40 or even 50, you hate it even more. Yeah, the hatred grows. It bellows. Or I don't even know if bellows is the right word. It stews. It stews inside you, and kind of like a steam pot, it goes off. That's what Billy would do. He would scream. Now, I met a lady. I dated her for a little while, Christina Reyes. She was out, Christina Reyes. She was out in Dallas, and she hung out with Billy at the age of maybe 16 or 17. I met her when she was 17, right before I left for Hollywood. I was 27. And Christina met him, and they met at a... she went to the concert. She was a diehard fan. She was probably about 17. Or maybe she was 16. Yeah, she was probably 16. Anyway, I ID'd her when I met her, just to double check. But anyway, he hung out with her, and they ate poppy seed muffins. Billy was straight edge. So we got the bass player. She had a problem with heroin. The Michael, I don't know, I'm going to guess his name's Jimmy. I always call him Michael. His actual name is Jimmy. I think it's because his drumming is like the angel Michael. Because Michael was militant. His drumming is kind of militant. That's why I call him Michael. But his name is Jimmy. Jimmy Chamberlain. He had a problem with it. That's what I heard. I don't know for sure. And then, of course, Aha, I don't know if he dabbled in it. But Billy didn't. Billy was straight edge. He was just crazy. Billy was so crazy that when he was younger, he cut the tail off of a cat. You could hear the screaming of the cat and some of his vocals. The cat meow, the cat meowing. I played a cat at the Actors Studio. It was one of my favorite roles. I had to study a cat about a week. I would go and pet this cat at one of those Petcos, kind of like PetSmart. And then I would go, maybe it was PetSmart, I don't know. But I would go back home and then mimic the cat every day until I had to do it before the professor. In the classroom, for study purposes, to know what a cat is, to study the cat, because they got musicals like Cats, and he caused a lot of pain for that cat to go without his tail, but he thought it was funny, so he wore the cat's tail to school. This is going to be in the bio about Billy Corgan. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that's mean. That poor cat. And so Billy had to carry the pain of that cat throughout his career. But he was tortured as a young boy because of wrong parenting. They always give him to the drug addicts. They always give it's that one. All right, that's enough on that for the Smashing Pumpkins. They're still around. They just don't have the crazy chick, Darcy. No, they don't. It's straight up. Anyway, the Smashing Pumpkins, they say Satanist. I classify them as a Christian band, to be honest, because of Zygist. Zygist, he dedicated it to Jesus. It's on the back of the CD. If you buy the CD, it's dedicated to Jesus Christ. Look at this house coming up here. Just give it a second. And that's enough you have to say on a Christian band. You don't have to talk about them a whole lot. You don't really need to. Look at this. It's got like a basement thing. Freaking cat named Crook, man. Only thing is, that's their house, you know? But it could be a house because of the outside of it. Oh my gosh. Do you know what that is? It's from Stranger Things, probably from Halloween. It's the Gorga thing. You know, from I'm sorry, not Smashing Pumpkins, I'm sorry. From Stranger Things. The Gorg or whatever, the Dungeons and Dragons thing that comes alive. I have to go back and watch Stranger Things. It's been forever. I saw it on Netflix when it first came out. And that music's like... It's like, what in the world? The 1980s. What are they doing? This is cool. But all these kids are like having like these fake ecstasy trips, you know, with their eyes. They're floating above things. Now Millie Bobby Brown has a... I don't know if it was a bestseller, but she wrote a book at the age of maybe, I don't know, like, was she 17 or 18? She wrote a whole book. Was it 19? She wrote an entire book. Now she does face cream ads, kind of like your local YouTuber. Anyway, that looked like a Stranger Things thing. Anyway, enough on the Smashing Pumpkins. We're going to listen to them. So I can tell you some influence when I listen to Siamese Dream, the studio cut. Maybe not in the Tower Records version for sure, but in the studio cuts, I do hear Rush. Rush is a Canadian band. They're from Canada. Rush was the whole thing. They were like the hardest working band in Canada. I hear some of that in Smashing Pumpkins. Smashing Pumpkins is not too far. They're Chicago. Very cold, and cold enough to kill you. I went to Chicago. I went there. I escaped there. I took in the back, right back there. I took a plastic container full of spaghetti, dried spaghetti, and then a thing of not mashed potatoes. I'm sorry, I did. That would have been funny. No, peanut butter. So I ate the dried spaghetti, and then the peanut butter for the protein. And I stayed in some weird, like dive motels for 2 or 3 days until I ran out of gas in Missouri. And then Bobby Skez gave me some money coming through a Western Union. And then I got back and got bit by a dog right here. Right there. His dog bit me, Kane. Anyway, yeah, you know, I would say Rush is a big influence when I hear them. To me, because of the way the chords are like designed, how you picture them as they're being played is the same way you would picture the band Rush. And they're tight too. That's the thing, is their studio albums, they're very, very meticulous and tight. All of the mixing is like good enough to get David Lynch's approval to later be used in Lost Highway. And then just like a quick shot of the Fort Worth just to ruin it, and then to go back to the Lost Highway again. It'll lead to the highway. All right. Looks like we have another night of delivery. We're head back and see Linda and Kitty. Fun on the Autobahn. Craft work. So music, filmmaking, art, writing, you name it, all of it. Sculpting, welding, painting, molding with your hands, making video vlogs. All of it comes from a source that nobody really understands, but it's untangible. Then we manifest it. We try to make it understandable by presenting it before you. Or it would just be a thought, or what David Lynch talks about, an idea, good ideas. So That's why. Because it's untangible. You can't touch it. Then it becomes something, right? And it's kind of a representation that can't be taken away from the creative artist or the digital creator or whatever you want to call it. It can't be taken away. It can to a certain extent, but I mean, who doesn't have one of these, right? Everybody needs to have one, right? So we just turn what we give it into art.
I shall cling. I shall leave thy mother and thy father and cling fastly to my wife. I shall leave thy mother and thy father and cling fastly to my wife. I shall leave my mother and thy father and cling fastly to my wife. Yes, I shall leave thy mother and thy father and cling fastly to my wife.